Greetings of peace and prosperity. I welcome you all to the English 10 virtual class of Sir Franco, celebrating diversity through world literature. Hey grade 10 learners, you are now in Quarter 1, Module 2, Thought Organizing Tools. Before we dig deeper in understanding this lesson, let's have first the most essential learning competency 2 for Quarter 1. Determine the effect of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, non-linear illustrations, and others on the understanding of a text. Are you fond of reading stories? Stories do not only entertain us, but also encourage us to reflect on the lessons that the authors want to share. Furthermore, reading stories develop our reading skills. One of these skills is organizing ideas that are expressed in the story. As a reader, you must take note of the important story elements for you to better comprehend what you read. Oftentimes, you need to arrange, cluster, and present the ideas in the story in creative ways and use several tools that can visually represent your thoughts. That is why, in this module, you will go through an adventure with several missions where you will be guided to sharpen your skills in organizing your ideas from the stories you will read. Grade 10 linguists, when you finish the journey for each mission, you will feel accomplished if you will be able to answer the following questions. What are textual aids? Graphic organizers? Why are textual aids, especially graphic organizers, important to a reader or writer? How well were you able to use the textual aids in this module? Let's try out, people! Before we proceed with our lesson, let us first answer these preliminary activities to check whether you already have an idea about our topic. Do not worry about your score, because you are here to learn, right? Now, get ready. Your task starts here. Let's have Activity 1, On the Wings of Dove. This activity will give you a preview on what to learn in this module. The terms cited are very useful for you to answer the succeeding activities. Read the following definitions in column A and guess the word it describes by choosing from the wing of dove in column B. Now, write your answer on your answer sheets. Let's begin with question number 1. It refers to physical occasion, time, as well as social cultural conditions and atmosphere. What's your answer? Setting. Number 2. It refers to a person or an animal or anything personified. Guess what? It's character. Number 3. This is the sequence of events that happened in the story. What's your answer? Very good. Plot is the answer. Number 4. It is a challenge or problem which ties one incident from another. Conflict is the answer. Proceeding to number 5. It is underlying idea, insight, belief, or lesson the author is trying to convey. Theme is the answer. Great job. Number 6. This is the angle from which the story is told. And point of view is the answer. You got it right. Moving on to activity 2. Here comes the sun. The words inside the sun are essential for you to complete the tasks in this module. Make sure to read them carefully. Identify which type of graphic organizer is being illustrated in each number. Choose your answer from the group of words inside the sun. Now, write your answer on your answer sheets. Good luck. Ladies and gents, I will ask you, do you look back? Before we proceed with our lesson, let us have first a short review of the topic we discussed from the first module. At this very moment, we are going to answer Activity 3, Fact or Bluff. Read the following statement. Write fact if the statement is true and bluff if it's false. Write your answer on your answer sheets. Let's begin with number 1. Information may come virtually from anywhere. News reports, media, speeches, videos, blogs, personal experiences, books, articles, expert opinions, web pages, and others. What's your answer? Amazing! Fact is the answer. Number 2. News report is formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. Guess your answer. Bluff is the answer. Number 3. Scanning first is one of the tips to remember what you read. Drop your answer now. Very good. Bluff is the correct answer. Number 4. John Angelo de Dios Ortiz, a 27-year-old from Albay, was able to meet Pope Francis because of his extraordinary story of faith, resilience, and belief in himself despite a disability. What's your answer? Amazing! Fact is the answer. Going to number 5. News report is found in newspapers which aims to inform the readers of what is happening in the world around them. What's your answer? Great job! Fact is the answer. Moving on to building your vocabulary. Let us now unlock some of the unfamiliar terms you will encounter later in the story. Going to activity 4. The power of words. Write the missing letters on the appropriate boxes to form a word. To help you answer this activity, the definition, synonym, and antonym of the term to be unlocked are given. Ladies and gents, good luck. Take a look at the boxes. Its definition is one who is learning by practical experience under skilled workers, a trade, art, or calling. Its synonyms are assistant, helpmate. Its antonym is veteran. What do you think is the word? Apprentice. Very good. That is the correct answer. How about number 2? Take a look at the boxes. Its definition is marked by flawless craftsmanship or by beautiful, ingenious, delicate, or elaborate execution. Its synonyms are intensive, profound, or elegant. Its antonyms are light, moderate. What do you think is the word? Uh-huh. Exquisite is the word. That is the correct answer. Let's proceed to number 3. Take a look at the boxes. Its definition is extremely bad, distasteful, unpleasant, or shocking. The synonyms are fearful, frightening, horrifying, and the antonym is inoffensive. What do you think is the answer? Great job! Dreadful is the answer. Moving on to number 4. The definition says to feel with rage or anger. The synonyms are mad, outrage, and the antonyms are delight, gratify. What do you think is the word? How about the missing letters? Very good. Enraged is the answer. Let's proceed to the last number for this activity. The definition says it's all about seeking to avenge. The synonym is vindictive, and the antonyms are forgiving and brotherly. What do you think are the missing letters? And what do you think is the word? Very good. The word is vengeful. Amazing! You are now done with the activity. You have understood the words that you will soon encounter in the next learning journey. Now, let's study this. We are now on Activity 5, the guiding path. Read carefully the succeeding text. Let the chart below be your guide in reading the text. Make sure to use this guide for you to understand the whole story. Good luck. Good day. What comes into your mind when you hear or see the word myth? Very impressive. When we are talking about a myth, it is an ancient story created to explain natural events. It talks about gods and goddesses, and sometimes heroes. In addition to explaining events in nature, some myths also present a lesson on how to live or serve as a warning to follow the rules of the society. In this module, we have here a reading text entitled The Story of Daedalus and Icarus. This story is a great example of a myth. It discusses adventures and mistakes of heroes or characters. Moreover, in this text, you are going to look for answers on the following questions. How does Icarus get himself into a difficult situation? And as you're going to read this myth, find out what Icarus did to escape from the island prison of Crete. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck. Let us see if you can predict correctly some of the events in the story by accomplishing the chart below. This is Activity 6, Anticipation Reaction Guide. Grade 10 learner, kindly accomplish the story reaction guide below. These are the instructions. Before reading the story entitled Daedalus and Icarus, you are going to read the following statements in the table and check the column that corresponds to your answer. And after reading the story, review your answers and write in the last column whether you were right or wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, break a leg. It's time to read a story. English 10 learners, please open your module to page 7. Read the story carefully to answer the questions that follow. The story is all about Daedalus and Icarus, written by Nick Ponticus. Have fun reading the journey of Daedalus and Icarus. Happy reading, everyone! English 10 learners, while you are reading the myth entitled Daedalus and Icarus, written by Nick Ponticus, we have prepared here an animated video made by Ted Ed about the story of Daedalus and Icarus. Enjoy watching.
In mythological ancient Greece, soaring above Crete on wings made from wax and feathers, Icarus, the son of Daedalus, defied the laws of both man and nature. Ignoring the warnings of his father, he rose higher and higher. To witnesses on the ground, he looked like a god, and as he peered down from above, he felt like one too. But in mythological ancient Greece, the line that separated God from man was absolute, and the punishment for mortals who attempted to cross it was severe. Such was the case for Icarus and Daedalus. Years before Icarus was born, his father Daedalus was highly regarded as a genius inventor, craftsman, and sculptor in his homeland of Athens. He invented carpentry and all the tools used for it. He designed the first bathhouse and the first dance floor. He made sculptures so lifelike that Hercules mistook them for actual men. Though skilled and celebrated, Daedalus was egotistical and jealous. Worried that his nephew was a more skillful craftsman, Daedalus murdered him. As punishment, Daedalus was banished from Athens and made his way to Crete. Preceded by his storied reputation, Daedalus was welcomed with open arms by Crete's king Minos. There, acting as the palace technical advisor, Daedalus continued to push the boundaries. For the king's children, he made mechanically animated toys that seemed alive. He invented the ship's sail and mast, which gave humans control over the wind. With every creation, Daedalus challenged human limitations that had so far kept mortals separate from gods, until finally he broke right through. King Minos' wife, Pasiphae, had been cursed by the god Poseidon to fall in love with the king's prized bull. Under this spell, she asked Daedalus to help her seduce it. With characteristic audacity, he agreed. Daedalus constructed a hollow wooden cow, so realistic that it fooled the bull. With Pasiphae hiding inside Daedalus' creation, she conceived and gave birth to the half-human, half-bull Minotaur. This, of course, enraged the king, who blamed Daedalus for enabling such a horrible perversion of natural law. As punishment, Daedalus was forced to construct an inescapable labyrinth beneath the palace for the Minotaur. When it was finished, Minos then imprisoned Daedalus and his only son Icarus within the top of the tallest tower on the island, where they were to remain for the rest of their lives. But Daedalus was still a genius inventor. While observing the birds that circled his prison, the means for escape became clear. He and Icarus would fly away from their prison as only birds or gods could do. Using feathers from the flocks that perched on the tower and the wax from candles, Daedalus constructed 2 pairs of giant wings. As he strapped the wings to his son Icarus, he gave a warning. Flying too near the ocean would dampen the wings and make them too heavy to use. Flying too near the sun, the heat would melt the wax and the wings would disintegrate. In either case, they surely would die. Therefore, the key to their escape would be in keeping to the middle, With the instructions clear, both men leapt from the tower. They were the first mortals ever to fly. While Daedalus stayed carefully to the midway course, Icarus was overwhelmed with the ecstasy of flight and overcome with the feeling of divine power that came with it. Daedalus could only watch in horror as Icarus ascended higher and higher, powerless to change his son's dire fate. When the heat from the sun melted the wax on his wings, Icarus fell from the sky. Just as Daedalus had many times ignored the consequences of defying the natural laws of mortal men in the service of his ego, Icarus was also carried away by his own hubris. In the end, both men paid for their departure from the path of moderation dearly. Icarus with his life, and Daedalus with his regret.
Let's proceed to Activity 7. Fact or fake? Tell whether the statement is fact or fake. Draw wings if the statement is a fact, and sun if otherwise. God bless. Starting up with number 1. Daedalus was an inventor. Wings or sun? Very impressive. Wings. Number 2. King Minos wanted to kill the Minotaur. Wings or sun? Very good. Sun. Therefore, it's fake. Number 3. It would be easy to find your way out of the labyrinth. Wings or sun? Great answer. Sun. Therefore, it's fake. How about number 4? Icarus designed his own image. Wings or sun? Impressive. Sun. Therefore, it's fake. Moving on to number 5. The wings were made of feathers. Wings or sun? Wow, you got it right. Wings. Therefore, it's a fact. Congratulations. Welcome to Activity 8, Comprehension Check. Today, we are going to test if you have understood the story of Daedalus and Icarus. On your answer sheets, answer the following questions. What is a short story? A short story is a piece of prose fiction that typically can be read in one sitting and focuses on a self-contained incident or series of linked incidents with the intent of evoking a single effect or mood. The short story is one of the oldest types of literature and has existed in the form of legends, mythic tales, folk tales, fables, anecdotes, and fairy tales in various ancient communities across the world. The modern short story was developed in the early 19th century. A short story has 5 important elements, and these are characters, setting, conflict, theme, and plot. Character. What is a character? A character is a person, or sometimes an animal, who takes part in the action of a short story or other literary work. There comes a time that we are so eager to know the characters. But now, how do we get to know them? First, through the author's physical description of them. Sometimes, through their actions. Most of the time, through their words, their dialogues, their conversation. Through their inner thoughts. And through what other characters say and think about them. How about setting? Setting is a time and place that a story occurs. Authors often use descriptions of landscape, scenery, buildings, seasons, or weather to provide a strong sense of setting. Theme. Theme is the meaning behind events and characters' action in a story. The theme is a central idea, message, or purpose in a short story. A theme can be expressed as a general statement about people or life. It is not plot summary. It can either be directly or indirectly stated by the author, but most likely, it is indirectly. Conflict. Conflict is any of the problems that a character encounters in a story. The conflict is a struggle between two people or things in a short story. The main characters is on one side of the main conflict. Conflict can be classified into two: external and internal. When we are talking about external, it is a conflict with the characters or with nature. While internal, it is a conflict within oneself. In a short story, the main character may struggle against another important character, man versus man. Against the forces of nature, man versus nature. Against society, man versus society. Against something inside himself or herself. It talks about feelings, emotions, and illness. Man versus himself. And against supernatural forces. Man against gods and goddesses. The last element of a short story is plot. A plot is a pattern of events that develop from the interactions between characters. A plot is a series of events and characters' actions that relate to the central conflict. There are 5 elements of plot. First, the exposition. Second, rising action. Third, climax. Fourth, falling action. And fifth, conclusion. This is an example of a diagram of a plot. It has 5 elements, including the introduction or the exposition, the rising action, the climax, falling action, and the resolution or conclusion. First element of plot, the exposition. What is an exposition? This is the start or the introduction of the story. It is the background information that the reader must have in order to understand the story. This is where characters and setting are introduced. The second element of a plot, the rising action. When we're talking about rising action, this is all of the events that take place leading up to the climax. Most of the time, this is where the reader is introduced to the conflict. What is climax? This is the most exciting part of the story. climax is the turning point in the story. Here, the stories turn in a different direction toward the conclusion. Falling action. What is a falling action? This is the immediate reaction to the climax. This is where all the actions occur after the climax and before the conclusion of the story. The last element of a plot is a resolution. What is a resolution? A resolution is sometimes called as conclusion of the plot. Loose ends are tied up now. And sometimes, there might not be a clear resolution, and we call it a cliffhanger ending. What are graphic organizers? According to Fisher and Shoemaker in 1995, graphic organizers are visual displays of key content information designed to benefit learners who have difficulty organizing information. These are useful tools in presenting and organizing information. They are meant to help students visualize clearly how ideas are organized within a text or surrounding a concept. Here are some of useful organizers you should know. Concept map. What is a concept map? Concept map is a general organizer that shows central idea with its corresponding characteristics. Concept map can take many different shapes, which is excellent for brainstorming, activating prior knowledge, or generating synonyms. The pictures projected are just some of the examples of concept map. Flow diagram or sequence chart. What is it? A flow diagram or sequence chart is a chart that shows series of steps or events in the order in which they take place. Any concept that has distinct order can be displayed in this type of organizer. These are just some of the examples of flow diagram or sequence chart. Venn diagram. Compare, contrast. What is a Venn diagram? A Venn diagram is used to identify the similarities and differences between two or more concepts. These are just some of the examples of Venn diagram. Cause and effect diagram. What is cause and effect diagram? Cause and effect diagram highlights the direct relationship between different events or concepts. Sometimes we call it the fishbone diagram, which shows the cause and effect relationship. Plot diagram or organizer. What is a plot diagram or organizer? A plot diagram or organizer is used to show the series of events happened in the story. A plot diagram composed of the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. Hey grade 10, you are now in the middle part of this module. Let's proceed with the enrichment activities. And this is Activity 9, Paint My Mind. Choose one of the following items, then draw or illustrate the image in your mind as you encounter the following details in the story. These are the items. 1. The labyrinth. 2. The Icarian Sea. 3. Minos shell. 4. Minotaur. 5. Icarus wings. Kindly use short size 1 paper as you draw or illustrate the image. Be creative. You can also add color to your painting. Happy painting, everyone! I assume you had a beautiful outfit. Well done! And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to Activity 10. Time on the line. Read the text once again. As you read the story, imagine the places and the actions of the characters. This time, work on the concept map below. Tell us what happened in each of the following places. Through this, we'll easily recall the important happenings in each of the significant places in the story. We have number 1, the Palace of Minos. Number 2, in prison. Number 3, Icarus in the sea. And number 4, Sicily. We are now in Activity 11. Fill me up, Buttercup. Fill in the required information for each section in the plot organizer below. You may go over once again the story of Daedalus and Icarus. By accomplishing this, you'll be able to give the summary of the story. Write your answers on your answer sheets. Activity 12. We're all in this together. Let us summarize what you learned from this module. Answer the question mark graphic organizer on the next page. Write your answers on your answer sheets. Generalization. These are the questions. What are textual aids? What are graphic organizers? Number 2. Why are textual aids, especially graphic organizers, important to a reader or writer? And last question. How well were you able to use the textual aids in this module? Write your answers on your answer sheets. Activity 13. The work is yours. Challenge accepted. Daedalus and Icarus needed to overcome many personal challenges to escape from the cruel living. Just like them, we also experience challenges. Share and compare the personal challenges of Daedalus and Icarus and the personal challenges you have experienced. Work on the following Venn diagrams. Be guided by the labels on each diagram. You can do it. Activity 14. Don't worry, be happy. Things that worry us could be great challenges. Well, what worries you at this very moment? And what can you do about it? It's your turn now to decide which graphic organizer will you use to finish this mission. You can refer to the examples of textual aids given. Good luck, happy organizing. You can use the space below for your output. break a leg. Activity 15. Pass or fail. This activity will determine the result of your missions in this module. Open your module to page 16 and read carefully the article. Then identify the important points. You are going to organize the article in a graphic organizer. You also have the freedom to choose on what type of textual aid you want to utilize. Good luck. Ladies and gents, kindly use short size bond paper for your answer. Activity 16. This is your last task. I want to share it with you. Daedalus tries to make Icarus pay attention to his instructions or advice, but Icarus gets excited and doesn't obey rules. Sometimes in life, we are like Icarus. We tend to disobey our elders because we think that they will ruin the fun of the things we wanted to do. Congratulations! You made it! You are now on your final task, disobeying advice. Grade 10 learners, you are going to write a 3-paragraph essay about your experiences of following or disobeying elders' advice. Reason out why you either follow or ignore their pieces of advice. And if you ignored specific advice, what was the result? Ladies and gents, you are going to write your answers on a short size bond paper. Margin is 1 inch all sides. It could either be written, printed, or in digital copy. If it's printed or in digital copy, please use font size 12, font style Times New Roman, and kindly follow the format projected on the right side of this page. Thank you. English 10 learners, this is all for today. I hope you have learned something from our topic. Again, this is Neil Cervantes Franco saying, stay safe, stay healthy, stay educated.